Thermal Sound Wave.
Right now, joining us on the program, Thermal Sound Wave, you know what I'm saying, the natural alternative, we got an artist, a brother from out of the Northwest Washington State, not D.C., not that Washington, the other Washington, man, the big state, you know what I mean, the state that got, that's right, up there by Vancouver, by Canada, you know what I mean?
They got posses on Broadway over there, too, yeah.
Oh, they do. That they do. And they got things in the sky over there, too, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Mix-a-Lot.
Oh, for real, absolutely. But we gonna chop it up right now. Right now on the program with Mr. Blakk Soul music and all that, man. He's gonna give everybody some help out there that may be needing it right now at this particular day and time, you know what I mean? So let's chop it up with Blakk Soul. How you doing, brother?
Yes, sir. I'm blessed up, man. I can't complain. How y'all doing?
Oh, we good, you know, just living it up, man. Staying safe, staying blessed, man, staying healthy.
That's the way to be.
Absolutely. So let everybody know a little bit about yourself and the whole life of, you're from Tacoma, right? To be specific, Tacoma, Washington?
Yeah.
Tacoma?
Yes, sir. East side of Tacoma, Washington, yeah. Northwest.
East side.
Home of the evergreen trees, yeah.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, that's about, about 40, 45 minutes away from Seattle?
Yeah, like 45 minutes south.
Okay, that's what it is. So you're close to Canada then?
I'm actually closer to Portland than I am to Canada.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're on the other 20 side.
Yeah. Canada up north. Seattle's closer to
okay.
Canada, I guess.
Ah, gotcha. Oh, okay, so I got you. You're further south.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So what was life like, man, coming up in East Tacoma?
Man, just like anything else, I grew up in the inner city, which comes with its own obstacles. But for the most part, man, I had a lot of love and support in my community. I came up playing sports, so a lot of people knew me that way. Singing was kind of just a hobby at first. And then around 1920s when I decided to pursue music as a career and take it serious, and then, that's when things kind of shifted.
What first got you into music and wanted to do that?
The girls. I never really, I had an ability to sing, but I never really looked at it as a career early on, like some folks. And so, it became a thing where when me and the homies would just be kicking it with girls or whatever, they would put me on blast to sing a couple of songs just to get the, facilitate the vibes. And that's all it was to start off with. And then, I was more so an athlete, so ball was life for a large part of my life. So then when that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, I was like, okay, what's something that I'm naturally gifted at that I might be able to put some real work into and turn it into something? And music was one of the main things, so I was like, why not?
Okay. And when you say ball, which particular? It's basketball, football, like?
I play basketball, football, and ran track.
Oh, okay. Three sport guys. So you think you could be me or Kev Lawrence in the track meet?
I don't know. I haven't seen what you guys can do, so I never underestimated.
No, you good. Stay with you at. Stay with you after. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if you caught what he was saying, C.Truth. He said, and I was saying that people call me to facilitate a certain vibe. That means he was stealing people's girls with singing. We can't trust that. Stealing people's girls with singing. Facilitate a vibe.
Did you see how I dressed up?
He dressed up all right. He ran dressing.
He did say, I got into it for the girls. He did say that, straight up on blast.
I did.
He said to facilitate a certain type of vibe. I ain't never heard it like that before in my life. Facilitate.
I'll try to put a suit and tie on it.
That's how you know he's a songwriter right there. That's the songwriting in them, Kev. That's what that is.
Exactly.
So what was your time and what was your 40 time?
My 40 time?
Yeah, in track.
I don't even remember at the time. I know my 100 time was 10.6.
Okay. Pretty decent.
Yeah, my 400 time was 48.
Okay. What position did you play in football and in basketball?
Outside linebacker. And in basketball, I was a shooting guard.
Oh, okay. So you like hitting people?
Yeah, I love hitting people. I love contact.
What kind of singer is this right now? We don't allow a Blakk Soul.
I'm not
A
the
singer that
typical
loves to hit people. I am concerned.
Not your typical
And he
R&B
facilitates
singer,
a certain kind of vibe.
Right. Facilitate that type of hitting.
Yeah. I make hits.
all the way around.
Oh man!
And you know what? Shout out to Tacoma, Washington. See, one of our friends, Dove from Tiger Eye.
Oh yeah,
she's
big
from
up
Tacoma, Washington.
Big
You
up
said
to
from where?
Dove.
Tacoma.
What was the name of the person or the business?
Dove from Tiger Eye. She does a
Dove?
lot of work with people from. Matter of fact, she was in a rap group back in the days too. She knows a girl,
okay.
but she does a lot of PR for many people in the business, and she's always in the background. I know she does a lot of stuff with people from 3-6 Mafia too, or DC Paul.
She was a photographer too.
Okay. Shout out to the town for facilitating those that make those behind the scenes moves.
Yeah, she brings the vibe. People look at what they need.
Oh man! Now you said things didn't go as the way that you wanted as far as like sports. What actually happened?
Yeah, I mean, we all have a dream to go to the league if you're playing sports at some point. It's like the end goal for the career, but those opportunities just didn't present themselves. Maybe I wasn't tall enough, maybe I wasn't jumping high enough or hitting hard enough. So I just had to figure it out at that point because I had been playing sports probably since I was like 9 years old. And so that was a large part of my life. So it was like, okay, when that didn't work out, I really had to think, what was I passionate about? That I feel like maybe if I just was able to fine tune, it could turn into something. So when I was in college, my roommate at the time, I was like, man, what do you think about me really trying to do this music? Because everybody knew me for facilitating vibes, just singing for fun. And so he was like, shit, why not? And so at that point,
right.
I started trying to put the pieces together, but I didn't come from like a musical family like some folks. So I really had to step outside of my comfort zone and go to the Tastemaker events, pop out to open mics and really try to network and rub elbows with people that were in that lane so I could learn what I needed to develop. And that's what I did.
Right. What college did you go to?
I went to University of Puget Sound.
And what were you studying?
Philosophy. I was a philosophy major, international business minor.
Wait, this guy is a philosopher. He can't respond. Philosopher, facilitating sounds, vibes, hitting people. He was the beginner of restaurants, man. Okay.
I try to be, man. I don't believe in limitations.
That's right. I feel you on that one, man. It's Thermal Soundwaves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. We're talking to Blakk Soul music here on the program. Hit us up, man. 347-454-1278. ThermalSoundwaves@gmail.com. That's what it is. So you're doing a circuit in college and hitting up the open mics and all that. When did you first get your first opportunity to like really put something out as a recording for more people to be exposed to what you were doing and your facilitation?
I met a cat. Well, he went to my high school, but he was a little older than me. But he ended up having a studio. And so that was probably the first person that I actually got to record with, dude named Q Beats. And man, it was exciting. But then this was at the time I was still having to pay for studio time. This wasn't quite the do-it-yourself era. So I was still having to pay for studio time, and me not knowing a whole lot, like trying to get in there and write songs based on my limited knowledge, the songs weren't coming out the way that I wanted them to. And I'm like, damn, that was a quick little $40 I done spent, or a quick little $100 I done spent for a few hours, and wasn't satisfied. And so I learned a lot about the process of prepping before I get to the session, so you can maximize your time. And inevitably, it just turned into, you know what, I think I could do this. So just through singing hooks for people and bouncing around through different studios from people I met. I was able to come up on some studio equipment for an affordable price for the crib. And so that is when I kind of started learning how to engineer, and that really helped me a lot. Saved a lot of money, so I was able to not just practice but develop, kind of self-develop.
Right. Absolutely. Now, Kev, you're gonna relate to this one right here. His first album title. Guess what his first album title was, Kev?
Hitting people? Is it still hitting people?
No, it's one of our favorite movies.
Whoa. Trading Places.
No, not that.
Elysium. What are we talking about? You got me.
No, that one. All right. Dirty Pretty Things.
Really?
That wasn't my first album, but that was my first album placement.
Okay. That was your first major placement.
Yeah, that was on rapper Big Pooh's album.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that so what was that about? Because that Dirty Pretty Things, man, that can go a lot of different directions. Very.
You would have to ask him that because he's the one that named it that. But the song that I did that was on that album was called Free. And it was crazy how that even came together because his manager at the time, Big Dog, was at a conference call with the producer that I was working with, my bro Cuddy. He was a part of this production duo called The Business. And I was doing demo references to his beats at the time, and he went and played them at this conference that we're in New York. And so that was Doe's first time hearing about me. So he went back to Pooh and was like, yo, I just heard this kid out of Tacoma, Washington, and he's dope. I think you should try to do something with him. So crazy part is I had never spoken a word to Pooh or anything before then. I was just a fan of the music. And he reached out to me on Twitter. So at first I didn't think it was real. So I was like, oh, this can't be the real. This can't be the real Pooh. But then, like, he DM'd me, gave me his number, and then we chopped up on the phone. I was like, oh, shit, this is really real. So sent me the song, ended up knocking out the hook. The backstory of it, what I learned later on, was that he was literally just going off the strength of his relationship with Doe, that I was going to do the record justice. He had never actually taken a listen to my voice. So He was like, for all he knew, it could have been terrible. It just happened to work out really good. So I was like, that's crazy. I said, well, shout out to y'all friendship, man, and shout out to Doe for looking out.
Right.
Oh, now, you mentioned something about how you was doing a reference with songs. For people out there don't understand that. Well, what does that mean?
So basically that means like trying to write songs for people like in a submission process. So like songwriters, what we'll do is we'll demo out concepts of songs or just hooks. And then they'll pitch it to either a rapper that may need a hook that may put somebody else on it, but you'll get writing credit for it.
And that is a part of the business where you can actually be able that to be lucrative.
Yeah, that's a part of the business. That's the behind the scenes part of the business.
Wow, it's very like this. A lot of people, you learn something every day. These are the things that people don't realize. Why, you look at somebody, you don't have to actually be in front of the camera, in front of the video. No, you can just do stuff like that all day, every day, and if people love your membership and you create and you facilitate that kind of a vibe for the music, it can work itself out with that right there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to make money where you don't necessarily have to be the face in the business. Like even like people like The Dream and Neo and even John Legend, they were all writing for people and referencing records for people before they became the celebrity that we know them as.
Right. So before you got that connection with Doe, who connected you with Big Pooh, like how long were you actively like out there doing your thing, like doing the circuit, writing, and all of that?
Probably like 3 years at that time. I was probably like 3 or 4 years in.
Okay, so not as long. Well, in these days, that's kind of long, but back then.
Right, yeah, back then, that's not a long time at all.
Right. So that's what's up. So as far as like the writing, you said you're doing references and you working with people like Macklemore and Anderson and Coco Sarai, who I remember Coco from out here when she was doing her thing, like she was doing a circuit out here in New York for a while. I would always see her. I would always see her like at little spots and like clubs and whatnot, and she was doing like the same thing you was doing, like open mics and like performances here and there where she could, and then she started like the same thing you was doing, like writing for people, and I guess she decided to head out west, and then when she head out west, she finally got her connect with that whole Dr. Dre camp, and she's been working with them.
We
like,
actually met in the same space.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, that's
so. What was that
like? It was competitive. It was like it was like an academy damn near. Like I feel like we got like a master class in song creation, you know, from arguably one of the best.
And before you got that master class, like what was your outlook as far as like how to do music and how to put things out in comparison to what you learned? What did you learn that was different from the way you were doing things before?
I think I definitely learned that you, in terms of the songwriting game, that you can't fall in love necessarily with each individual song. Like you can't feel like every song that you write is going to be the best one. Because you're going to, one, it's going to be harder for you to part ways with it. Two, songs can always be improved. You know, we do the best that we can based on the knowledge that we have. But when we got in, or at least when I got in that scenario, I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot I still have to learn. But it's like a crash course. So it's like either you're going to keep up and learn at the pace that, you know, Dre's demanding, or it's like you're going to get sent on. And
right.
I learned a lot from not just a songwriting piece of it, but, you know, Dre's great at understanding the entire process of song creation, from being able to conduct the musicians in there, from building a track from the ground up to, you know, coaching the songwriters through their pieces, coaching you how to record to where you're getting the clearest and the fullest sounding record on record. And yeah, man, it was like the first time I got a chance to record with him in that space, it was like how good I thought my music sounded. It was like exponentially better. Like from day one, I was just like, I was hooked after that. I was like, I need to learn how to do this. Got this level.
Now, I'm going to back it up a little bit. Before you were doing your thing as music, like you were also working like during that time.
Yeah.
You was working for the major Boeing company that, you know, put them planes in the air, like a legacy company.
Yeah, sure. It was.
What were you doing
right now, C.Truth?
Wow. Yeah, this guy was into everything, man. Like this Blakk Soul right here was facilitating all over the place.
Yeah, man, I was working at Boeing, man.
Hey,
what were you doing for Boeing?
Are you Jamaican?
You would think with all the jobs I've worked in my lifetime, I've worked in a lot of places. I actually am Ghanaian though. My mom's from Ghana, born and raised.
Okay, that explains it.
I was working on the flight line. So basically, my job was to make sure that the plane had all the parts they needed right before it went out the door to final assembly.
You really had to be on point, because if something went wrong,
I had to be on point. Well, I mean, to a certain degree, but I wasn't the one actually installing it in the plane. Those were the ones that was really on the hook. But if they were missing parts, or parts were sent down that they didn't get delivered to the plane, I had to go out to the warehouse and track them down to make sure everything was delivered to the mechanics that were actually putting the parts on the plane in a timely fashion, so that the plane made it out the door when it was supposed to.
Right. Now, I know after a while, I mean, you got used to it and you were doing the job, with no problems. But when you first got there, were you like sweating, like your first couple of days or a couple of weeks there? Like,
yeah,
if I miss one of these parts.
Yeah.
I was like, this is intense. Like, because not all the warehouses are close. and you got to go in there. You got to know what you're looking for, know who to talk to. So I was learning, the staff at different buildings and all of that. But I'm a pretty fast learner though, so I picked it up quick. I like jobs where I can kind of troubleshoot and problem solve.
Gotcha. Now you also doing some work for Mike and Keys, right? Who was executive producer for Nipsey Hussle?
Yeah. That was a dope time. That was actually my first gig I got when I moved to LA. So this is how it ended up happening. It's kind of a crazy story. So I ended up getting an invite to the Grammys. Basically, I met one of the reps from the Recording Academy, who at the time I thought, you had to either be signed to a major label or you had to have like these insurmountable type of credits to be able to go. But come to find out, I was really actually close because of the independent releases that I was dropping. And so, anyway, long story short, I was invited to go to the Grammys, and I let my managers know at Boeing I had the opportunity to go like a month in advance, thinking, oh yeah, for sure they're gonna clear it. They denied me. So technically, crazy, right? So technically, the rules are that even if you have the time to take, like if you have the sick time to take, managers still have to approve it. But it's so rare that if you have the time, they're not gonna not approve it. But for me, for whatever reason, I'll let that be where it's at. She was just like, nah. So, like I said, most cases you only got to give like 2 weeks notice. I gave them a month. So we're working our way down. We're having these discussions literally every week because I'm just like, I don't understand why you're not trying to approve this. We don't work on weekends. I was only going to take a Thursday and a Friday off and be back Monday. So I was like, you mean to tell me that nobody can cover what I'm doing for these 2 days? That's hard to believe. So it got down to the final week, and I was like, so what's the final verdict? And my manager at the time was like, we need you here at work. And, if you leave, what would happen? I was like, well, I would hope that you would use the time I got to take because my plane's already booked. Hotel's already booked. I already got my tuxedo pressed up. Like, I'm out of here. And I left. So when I got out there, I was able to finagle my way onto the red carpet. And Jake One, a producer, credible producer I was working with at the time, he's also from 45 minutes north of me. We had just started doing some work, but he had texted me like, how did you get on the red carpet?
But not to cut you off, but Jake One is one of the underrated producers out here, like in the game. Like he does some phenomenal work. That Freeway album, ridiculous.
Yeah, that Stimulus.
Package, ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
He's a beast. So
I
ended up telling him. Say that again.
Shout to stimulus checks too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I still ain't got mine. I wonder what's going on.
It's probably the cat from Boeing that's hating on you still.
You know what? It probably is. They're like, yeah, hold it up. So we went. So I told him the story about what happened at work, and I was like, so really, I need to network with some people out here. So he was the one that was like, okay, let me connect you with my boy Mike. I'm not knowing at the time that it's Mike from Mike and Keys, because they used to go by the Futuristics.
Okay.
And so I pull up, me and my homeboy, we pull up to the studio, and RIP, man, Nip was outside in the Suburban, like right when we pulled up. So I was like, oh shit, this is. I was like, oh, this is that Mike and Keys. I was like, this is gonna be crazy. So I go in there and play him a bunch of records. We get to talking, and I tell him, the story of what happened too. And they were like, so what's your plan? Like, do you live out in LA? Are you moving out here? What's the game plan? I was like, well, I engineer, so if there's any availability for a job out here, I can do that. They were like, oh, did you engineer any of these records that you played? So I was like, I engineered all of them. And they were like, well, dig this. We just lost our engineer like a week ago.
Wow.
So we were in need of one. It was really like divine intervention. I was like, well, okay. How soon do you need an engineer? They was like, well, could you start tomorrow? And I was like, oh, shit. Well, not that fast, but give me like a week, and I'll go figure it out and make it happen. And so they gave me a week. I ended up flying back home, Another reason why I say it was divine intervention, I had a little townhouse at the time in my lease. It was time for me to renew my lease. So everything just aligned in a way that was like, yeah, take your ass out to LA, man, and see what could happen if you really want to do this. And so I packed up all my stuff, put it in the storage unit, packed up all the stuff in the car, talked to my parents about it, called my auntie that was living in LA, asked her if I could crash on the couch. She was like, I could do you one better. I got a room for you.
Oh, here we go. Nice.
Yeah, and I headed out. A week later, March 9th, 2017, I started working for Michael Keys.
Nice, and the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history.
and from that, that's how you got that connect or that into to Dre from that.
Nah, that was actually a totally separate situation. So,
okay.
Big Pooh was cool with the A&R, the head A&R at the time of Aftermath. And so I had met, like, on some random stuff, I had met some producers that said that they were working on Anderson .Paak's album. They didn't know that I had a plug to really check and see if that was true. So Pooh had hit up the A&R to see what was really going on. And in that conversation, he was like, oh, yeah, so what's going on with Blakk Soul? And he was like, well, he's in Tacoma right now working on this EP. At the time, I was working on my Never See EP. And so he asked Pooh to send him some of my strongest records so he could play them for Dre and see, what he thought about it. So he did that. And like 2 hours later, Pooh hit me back and was like, yo, Dre's filling the records. He wants you to pull up. I was like, word. So I was on the next thing smoking back to LA. And when I got there, it happened. He had went on vacation, so I was like, okay, I kind of was stalled out for a minute. But then one night, I was with my boy, and he was with another cat that was actually a producer for Dre's team. And they ended up getting called to the studio that night. So A&R was like, who you with? My boy was like, Blakk Soul over here too. He was like, cool, bring him. So we put up to the studio, and now I'm just like, oh shit, I might need Dr. Dre tonight. But then they were telling me, they're like, there's no telling what time he's going to get here. So, he may come, he may not, just be prepared for whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. As soon as we walk in the door, I'm coming in the front, he's coming through the back. And I was like, oh, there he go. They introduced me to him. They tell him I'm a songwriter. He was like, oh, you right? And I was like, yeah. He was like, cool. We're going to see tonight. And then he just walked off. And I was like,
what was the feeling you had? Yeah, and I want you to be as honest as possible. I know people feel like, I'm a man, whatever. No. What was the feeling you had knowing that this guy has been producing music and DJing since the Wrecking Crew from back in the 80s and doing consistent hits? What was it, knowing his whole body of work?
It was like especially me being a kid from the West Coast, like I was just like, is this real? Like I think I had that moment right before I actually walked in the studio room, like, damn, is this really happening? Like, did I really just go from working at Boeing to walking in the studio with Dr. Dre? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then when I got into the room, it was like, other heavy hitters in there. Like, I think Focus was in there. Dem Joints, like, people that he's been working with. And they were already working on a song. And so in the midst of them working on this song, he's like just mugging me. And so I'm just kind of like, you try to look, but you're not trying to stare back. So I'm just like, damn, is he filling me out? Is he decent? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. And so then he was like, I've already heard what, these guys sound like. I want to hear what you got. And so now I'm just like, oh shit, I'm going through my laptop trying to figure out what's the right song to play at this very moment. And I play a few songs, and he cuts me off short, and it was just like, okay, I know what you sound like. And I didn't even know, at that moment, I didn't know if that was a good thing or if it was a bad thing or what. But he was still like staring at me, so I was like, man, this is uncomfortable. But then like I had seen like interviews like Kendrick and like Bilal and stuff had did about you know, what it was like being in like the Dre hot seat, like the infamous hot seat, where you got to build a song from scratch. Like I had watched these interviews, so then all of a sudden I was in the same scenario. He had asked me if I came to work, if I came to chill. I was like, I'm here to work. So then he was like, okay, well the mic is hot. He was like, do you like to stand up when you record or sit down? I was like, it don't really matter. I can stand up. He was like, cool, sit down. And I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be one of those days. All right. And I think at that moment, it went from excitement to like, okay, this is your chance. So it's time to lock in and do what you do. Do what you do that even got you the invite here. And, you know, it must have worked out because I ended up spending like a year and a half over there.
Wow. Nice.
Now, did you, going through all of this, did you ever, like, call back, like, anybody, co-workers or old supervisors from Boeing and treat them like the old Italian cop in Harlem Nights? Hey, let me speak to your boss. I ain't never coming back home. Was it like that kind of feel like, you know?
No, to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about them. It was funny though because I had like my homeboy that still worked there. He was like, everybody all of a sudden now is asking all these questions about you because you know I post pictures being in the studio and whatnot. And then the day that he told me that same manager that wouldn't approve me was asking how I was doing. And I was like, no, isn't that crazy? I was like, tell her I'm doing sensational.
Sensation, you're facilitating the vibe.
So you didn't go back. Hold on, Blakk. So you didn't go back and visit your boy like at work? Like pull up and something.
I haven't been back since I left.
You still does your man still work there?
Yeah, he does. He does still work there.
Yo, Blakk Soul, listen, you should go back there, right? Like, man, for lunch or something. Like, pull up in something real crazy, so that everybody can see it.
And go back and tell her.
And just stun on them. Just stun on everybody up in there. Like, don't even say nothing. Just you know, just give
with
them
a Dr Dre headphones on.
That'd be the ultimate flex. Give her some Beats by Dre headphones.
Exactly.
Thank you. I want to thank you for not approving my time that day.
Exactly. You know, sometimes we're laughing, but sometimes we need that when your back is against the wall, you got to make those decisions, and they're called grown-up decisions, and people are scared to jump. And at that moment,
100%.
you jumped. And, you know, it's very scary because your whole way of life could change. But if you never jump, you could spend the rest of your life wondering what it could have been if I just took the chance. You can always make back money, but you can't make back time and opportunity.
Right. That's real. That's real life. And the crazy part about it is I have friends that were trying to get me to move to LA prior to that just because of the opportunity, but I was such a calculated person that I was like, if I can't get a job out there or Boeing don't let me transfer out there, it's probably just not going to happen because I'm not willing, on my own, I wasn't willing to take that risk. And so the situation moving the way that it did, is like you said, it put me in a situation like, are you going to take that leap or not? And man, I'm so thankful for that leap.
Yeah. But also because you was also doing the work beforehand. Like when you are actively pursuing and actually actively doing that work, like an opportunity will come up for you at some point when you're actively out there trying getting it and putting in the work to you know move forward up with your dreams and everything, man. External Sound Waves, the natural alternative to Fast Foods Radio. We're talking to Blakk Soul music here on the program. C.Truth, Kev Lawrence. Hit us up, thermalsoundwaves.com, thermalsoundwaves@gmail.com. We're going to talk about your new album in a moment, but I think it's cool that people get to hear like just the whole layout of how you came to where you came and built everything up the way that you did, because I think it's inspirational to people out there that's listening and hearing it, to see like all the different things that you have to do or choices that you have to make sometimes to like really get to it, to really be successful. Now you also work with another dude whose music that I really like. Buddy, who has a song called Trouble on Central, one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
How did you link up with him and work with him?
So that scenario actually came through working with Mike and Keys. Buddy was doing work, as you may know, with Nip, and he did a lot of recording with Mike and Keys. So at the time, this is prior to him signing with RCA, he was in need of an engineer. So I pretty much was balancing between doing the engineer work that Mike and Keys needed me to do, and then being his engineer. So I actually did most of the recording for his 2 EPs, the Oceans in Montana and the Magnolia EP.
And so Magnolia, that's with Playboy Cardi?
No, not the song. Buddy had an EP called.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. He had 2 EPs, Oceans in Montana and Magnolia, that dropped before the Harlan and Alondra album.
Nice. And congratulations on that platinum plaque that you did. Or that you got, I should say.
Oh, man. Yeah.
For the Playboy Cardi joint.
I hadn't even realized that it went platinum. It went platinum in February, but I was just I just happened to be scrolling after a studio session right before I was about to lay down, and then I pretty much just stayed up. I didn't even go to sleep because I was like, oh, this is my first platinum plaque. That's crazy. Shout out to Jake One.
See, when you go back to Boeing, you need to just walk around with the plaque too.
I should send the manager a gift so she can put it up in her office.
Yeah, put the plaque up.
Say shout out to you.
And you know what? Sometimes when that happens, whatever feelings you may have harbored with somebody for trying to stop your dreams, you got to let it go. Because you got to say to them,
right.
You know, because of what you did, this is what I become. And this is what I'm on the road of becoming even more. And I'm not going to even waste that negative energy with staying on you, because if I do, I'll be subtracting from what my greatness is going to be. So just applaud them. Applaud them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'll be totally petty. I sent some gifts with some hints in them.
Yeah, you've been really petty. You've been like Tom Petty. You've been like Petty Crocker. You've been very petty.
Yeah, I just I was upset about it all initially when it happened, but just over time, it was just so many amazing things that came from it. I just didn't even look at it like that anymore. It was more like, yeah, thank you, because I needed that. I needed that extra push to take that leap into my destiny, and you provided that.
That's what's up, man. Big up to you for that, man. Now, Blakk Soul got the latest release. Take Your Time, the full length that's out right now. By the time people is hearing this, it will be out. So it's out.
Yes, sir.
Just put it that way. You know what I mean? And some good, great quality album. Good music on there. Something for everybody on there. The first piece off of there was Help with Joel Ortiz. And I think that record is very appropriate for now, for what's going on right now. Like it can be something that's like a soundtrack, or it can be used as like a background for like a lot of different things. Explain to people what the song Help is about off of the Take Your Time album.
The song Help is essentially what the title conveys, is that we all need help at some point in this journey. I don't think I necessarily subscribe to the idea of self-made in terms of not ever having any help to get to where we need to go, to any level of success. Even if it's, people that are supporting you emotionally, or that, they're talking to you from jumping off that ledge, so to speak, in terms of walking away from, where your destiny is trying to take you. It's like we all need help at some point. We all need the support. It takes a village. And I think that's what I really wanted people to take away from Help, was that we all need it. We all have our egos that get in the way, that may, block our own blessings and our own destiny helpers. But put that pride aside and reach out, because, you can grow exponentially when you put your ego away.
No doubt. Absolutely. And, it's a great song. I think it could definitely help, not to make a pun out of it, but it can definitely do that for a lot of people that's trying to get through some things, especially like now, like with what's going on. So
absolutely, it ended up being perfect for the time, man. And shout out to Joel, because he killed his verse as well.
For sure, definitely. Talk about some of the other subject matter that you're touching on Take Your Time.
On Take the Time, I got a song called Free, which is basically just about having wherewithal, to not quit, because it's, the grind's gonna get tough. It's not always gonna look as pretty as it may look once things get rolled out. It's a lot of grunt work that goes into behind the scenes of putting stuff together, before the consumer gets to receive it. And it's really about keeping your peace of mind, man, and finding what your freedom is. It doesn't necessarily have to be what other people see for you, because it's your life to live. That's what I think the track Free on the record talks about. I know I introduced that also in the title track, Take Your Time. It's not everything's a rush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's everything.
Exactly.
Everything is a process, and as long as your failures are lessons, as long as you learn from them, they're going to propel you forward. Like, some people really get down or think that. I think a lot of the times when we put ourselves in the mindset that we have to do everything perfect, it's like no matter how much you plan, there's going to be things that just don't work out. And
right.
I think learning to grow through that is going to be to your benefit. I think the record Hurt People kind of speaks for itself. Hurt People. I really wanted to, in creating the song, I wanted it to be simple, because I feel like sometimes it's the simple concepts that we miss. We try to overcomplicate things, and like that song in particular is talking about love and how sometimes we as people get in the way of love. Love isn't as complicated as the people make it out to be. So that's what Hurt People is. And then really the second half of the project is just, the bedroom classics.
Facilitating the ladies.
Yeah, facilitating the vibe. So I like to think of the project as of the medicine, and then the second half of the project is like the candy.
Gotcha. No doubt. Now, what are some of the things that you like to do, like that's outside of music, that's not music?
I like to work out. I like to cook. I like finding recipes. I like.
You got some chef skills.
Yeah, I do a little bit. I got a little hashtag going that I'll be posting on my page called I Can't Cook Though. But then I'll try to cook like this extravagant meal.
You like that guy? I'm not a rapper now. The battle rapper. But I'm not a rapper now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's your best dish?
I don't know. I got a few. I mean, I grill a mean steak. I got a good pasta.
And the cool water.
You said what?
Cool water.
I make a cool little spaghetti. I try to make my little spaghetti sauce from scratch, cut my tomatoes up, all that good stuff.
Right. You using the Foreman grill?
I'm not using the Foreman grill. We got a little grill out in the back.
Shout out to the Honorable George Foreman. You saved a lot of people's lives.
For real. Got a lot of people through college with that Foreman grill.
Yeah.
All right. Now, can you make any dishes from Ghana?
I know how to make Ghanaian light soup. My mom ain't really gave me all the recipes like that, realistic, because I think she always wanted me to come back and get it from her.
She wants she needs some Beats by Dre headphones. That's what it is. You ain't smart yet. She's smart.
Yeah, and even it's the crazy part is even when I try to make it for myself, it don't hit the same as mom. Mom she got extra,
She had a secret recipe that she hide, like that nobody ever knows. Like she'll probably give it to you like when it's that time, like when she knows, okay, I'm gonna leave this to you. That's when she's gonna give you that.
Right. But up until that point, that's how she knows she's gonna make sure I come back home.
Exactly. Right. When was the last time you've been out to Ghana? Have you ever been out to Ghana?
I went out to Ghana. I was probably 12 was the last time I went out there, and we stayed out there for like a month. And it was a trip. I was like, dang, it's crazy because everything that I had heard about Africa prior to in America has always been about poverty. They never showed the beautiful parts of Africa, at least at that time. And
Yeah.
it never made sense to me because I was like, you know, at the time we had MTV Cribs, we had Lifestyle with the Rich and Famous here in America. Like, why can't we have something like that to, you know, personify the beautiful parts of Africa? But, you know, that's a whole different conversation. But going out there, seeing like the architecture and the landscape, like it was beautiful out there.
Yeah. Rich history in Ghana, man. Rich history.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, that's where the transatlantic slave trade began, was West Africa.
Yeah, one of the ports was out over there.
Yeah. But yeah,
once you go there, just the spirit will hit you and you automatically start crying. Because
maybe it was
people
I
that knew that
young,
they wasn't coming back. I think it's called The Door. They knew they wasn't coming back. Yeah, and you automatically start crying when you get there because some kind of spirit hits you of the people that knew they weren't coming back to see their families.
I wonder if it had hit me different going there as an adult, because I definitely want to go back again as an adult. But yeah, I remember at the time that I went, it was like they had just got a McDonald's for the first time, and it was like a 4-mile long line. Yeah, crazy. Like this is from what I hear, like friends that I have that go back and forth there now, they said it's a lot more metropolitanized now than it was then. But I remember at that time, I was like, that's crazy. Like they're going crazy over McDonald's. And I'm like, in the States, you know, that's regular.
Do they have a Popeyes out there yet?
They didn't at the time. I don't know if they do now. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, you need to go back and let us know, like we'll have you back on and let us give us a Ghana report.
Yeah, see what the updates are.
Shout out to the Ghanaian Massive and all that, man. Shout out to every one of them out there.
No question. So I know you got, Take Your Time is out, so people need to get that, stream that, circulate that, put it on their playlist, like everything.
All that. Share with
let people know, word of mouth. Yeah, exactly.
Quarantine Day. All that.
Exactly. Yeah, there's some songs on there too for the quarantine, like Tasty, Dangerous, Wet.
What is that? You trying to have baby showers? Okay.
There's some quarantine joints on there. And when y'all hear it, when y'all listen, everybody out there, listen to Take Your Time, Blakk Soul music. You're gonna hear exactly what I'm talking about. And when y'all play them, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is that thing right here.
I get it.
All right. Absolutely. Yeah. So what's the next movement for you? Like,
trying to navigate this new normal of all the quarantines and trying to create content, man, creative content. I think that's what we're all kind of doing right now as creatives in our various fields, is because we can't move around as freely as we could. So it's trying to really get creative in these limited spaces to create content to keep people entertained, and hopefully once everything opens back up, to begin to start doing some shows and tour the album a little bit. So that's later out. But in the meantime, like, I'm always working. I got an in-home studio set up, and just always creating new records and trying to help facilitate and write for other people. So I'm always working around the clock.
Well, me and Kev, we're available to do some album work. If you want to write a couple songs for us, or what have you.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got you.
And my man
let me know what
Boeing too.
Yeah, well, we'll have we do a couple things. We split it up, a couple, some bangers, and then a couple facilitation joints. We need some facilitation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm with it. Let me know what you have me in.
Absolutely. Well, I want to give a big up to Dre from Elixir Media Group, man, for making that connect and that link. Good people's over there doing this thing.
Shout out to Dre.
And when you see Big Pooh, man, tell him we said what's up, and tell him we appreciate him, his partner. Because a long time ago when they were touring, they came through New York. Mm-hmm. They just finished the show over at SOB's, and we interviewed them after that, and they didn't have to do the interview. They brought us on their tour bus to do the interview, right after their show. And I know how hectic it gets after. Yeah, I know how hectic it gets after you finish performing. So, we always appreciate them for doing that because, you know, no artist wants to do that. So we appreciate them for doing that.
Yeah, nice. Shout out to Pooh, man. I like to be honest, man, out of all the people I've met in the industry, Pooh's probably one of the most humble cats. Like, that he's willing to work with people before they've reached their potential, which, you know, in the, you know how the industry goes, not a lot of people like that. And he's always just trying to create opportunities for up and coming cats, and I'm one of them. You know what I mean? I'm always forever grateful.
Absolutely. So give everybody out there, you know, all the ways they can reach you and all the ways they can connect with you.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to keep it all one-stop shop. It's all Blakk Soul Music, BLAKK Soul Music. It's all the same on all my platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find me, just search Blakk Soul on any digital service provider if you want to stream the album, if you want to purchase the album, which I love either way. Yeah, I try to make it easy for the consumers.
No question, definitely, man. Well, listen, we appreciate, you know, you coming through and coming on and keep putting out that great music, keep facilitating out there, and you're welcome. You're welcome to come through and come back like anytime, and hopefully, when everything gets situated, we'll be able to have like a sit down with you, like face to face.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be down for that, man. I just want to say thank y'all, man, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Thanks for checking out the project, man. And yeah, I look forward to keeping y'all updated on my career, man. This is like just the beginning, I feel like.
Hey, make sure also, man, take down my Instagram is at KEV_Lawrence in case you want to facilitate what you facilitated already my way. Try to put that out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I'm at Thermal Sound Waves, just like the show name. So just hit me up.
just send that. Yeah.
Man, I got y'all.
No, we at LA. We'll come check you too, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let me know.
Oh, for sure. We out there on the regular, so we gotta hit you up, man.
Okay, bet.
All right, brother.